Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show. Josh Merritt, welcome back to ATV Talk. How are you, brother?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. Hey, thank you so much for taking some time. I know that 23-24 has been jam-packed for you. And if you don't mind, I want to talk a little bit of 23 because we didn't get to talk that much. And you had such an exciting year in 2023. You ended up fifth in points. You moved onto the podium. You totally changed your dynamic. Can you give me a little bit of background on what was going on there?
So, man, it all started at the beginning of the year. The off season was really, really good in 23. Well, 22 to 23. And program was dialed in. Mark Notman come on board and really, I think, yeah, he came on board and just really helped me grow as a racer and my program. Action Off Road, and they poured everything into me and just really crossed my T's, dotted my I's, coming into a season.
So when you say that the advancement of the program, I mean, you were already an established cross country XC1 pro. And was it development in training or development in the mental side of the bike? Where did that come from?
I would say in all aspects. I think I needed to have a little bit more grit, but not only that, training and bike all was, I would say, at 80%. I think there was just that little bit more. I wouldn't even say 80%. It's crazy. I thought about it last year at the podium, how close I was in all my program to being that much further up on the podium at the end of the year at the banquet. So it's like, it's pretty wild to think about, like, if I would have gave a little bit more effort, if my bike was set up a little bit better, I think I could have started this a long time ago. But it is what it is. That's what happens when you work on your own stuff and you have a job and all that kind of stuff. You don't get to put as much time into it. But with Action, they gave me a mechanic, so I get to just, rather than working on my race quad.
So when you were telling me about the upgrades, we were talking about the training. Was it training? Was it bike prep? Where do you think the elevation or the changes were that have elevated you?
So I definitely think all aspects needed to be upgraded, from training to bike to my whole program. Just me doing it by myself and my dad, and obviously sponsors helping. It was still a lot on me and my family, and with Mark coming on board with Action Off Road, I could then now ride in between the races rather than working on my race bike in between the races, which brought me up to that next level. And then obviously Levi Cohn, uh, with Outlier Performance, he come out with a program that obviously it works. You just have to put in the work, and we put in the work this off season with him, and we made, well, in 23, and we turned a season into a really, really good season just by a little bit better bike and a little bit better physical ability, I should say.
You were leading the race and Adam McGill was behind you and it was really muddy. And unfortunately, Adam passed you and you were in second. You got second on the day. What was going
Yep.
through your head then?
I was leading a good amount of that race. And to be honest, when Adam passed me, it was almost like a pressure release valve went off in my head, because I was like, all right, nobody wants to not have a podium than just get a win. Like, I like at least to work my way up. And with him getting in front of me, yeah, it sucked. It would have been sweet to have my first win ever, but he pulled me to that finish line, and I could see what he was doing, and it wasn't as uh, hard on me during the race to just follow and watch him go through the ruts. Okay, I know I can make it through the ruts and all that kind of stuff. So coming in second that race was really I would say, career change for me, because at that point I knew I could be a podium guy. And yeah, it was a mud race, but we dominated that race. So it was very fun. I think we won or got first and second, and Bryson got third just being out wide, but we had a sizable lead there. And I think that gave me the confidence for the rest of the year. And I think I clicked off 3 or 4 more top fives. And then coming into the finale, I just had to get a certain place, and I got like 2 above it that I needed to finish up fifth for the year.
Are you looking for the best suspension technology for your sport ATV? Look no further than Elka Suspension, the industry leader in sport ATV suspension technology. With championship wins in prestigious events such as the Dakar Rally, SCORE, Best in the Desert, ATV MX, Cross Country, and Works, Elka Suspension has established itself as the go-to choice for athletes and enthusiasts alike. But they don't just stop at ATVs. They're constantly expanding into new markets, including UTVs, trucks, SUVs, pit bikes, snowmobiles, and more. Their commitment to innovation and quality means they're always looking to improve and adapt so you can enjoy a smooth ride wherever you go. Want to learn more about what Elka Suspension can do for you? Visit their website at elkasuspension.com or give them a call at 450-655-4855. They will always be happy to answer your questions and help you find the perfect suspension solution for your needs. Yeah, and that gave you your first top 5 number in your career in the XC1.
Yep.
And watching your career, you got to come and race out on the West Coast. It was the first time I actually got to watch you ride. And I told you then, I thought that you had skills far beyond your results. And I don't think you believed me. And now I think you believe me.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I always had it. It's weird. It just all needed to fall into place, and it finally did. And with the bike being at 100% and myself being at 100%, I just click on the thing, and we put in the work.
You mentioned Mark Notman and a race mechanic, or a mechanic to help you with your race stuff. Do they? So it's a little different with XC1 in off-road and in motocross. Your mechanic is giving you pit board signs. They're talking to you before the race. It's I think it's a much more hands-on style of counseling or babysitting or whatever you want to call it. And in XC, how does the mechanic really help you on race day?
So he will talk to me at the starting line, but to be honest, he is Walker's mechanic on race weekends. He'll come over, he'll check some final things right before the race, because he'll give me the bike fully prepped. I go out and I do like a 45-minute little riding session before the race to stretch the chain, just make sure everything's working. And then obviously I have to prep it after that. So he'll check my work, he'll check the chain, he'll check, just little things. And he'll tell me good luck, and then he'll see me on the line and pretty much say, hey, you got this. You put in the work. And then he'll go over, and obviously he does the same with Hunter Hart. He's not Hunter's personal mechanic either. He's Walker's, and we kind of just all share him. So we just get little bits of him, which I've never had a mechanic, and he does more than I can ask for. So I don't need the like you said, kind of like the babysitter point of view of it. I need him to say, hey, the bike's ready to go. You're ready to go. go get it done, and he can go do whatever he needs to do. And, um, you know, that's all I need.
When you guys are, in the shop or out practicing and stuff, who's your motivation through? I mean, guys sometimes have a guy in their camp that always gives them extra motivation. It could be your gal, it could be, your dad. Who is it for you?
I would say it's definitely my parents. My parents, my sister, my girlfriend, uh, my mom mostly. Yeah, they motivate me. It's they 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 had me grow up in this racing world, and just trying to pay back good finishes, man. And ha seeing them smiling and happy at the end of the race rather than me getting eighth, ninth, and 10th, it's all that matters to me anymore. Once that kind of goes away, I'll be done. But they're still loving it, and they love to see me doing good, even if they can't come to the race. There's a lot of races this year, and not many last year, but some this year that they haven't made it to. And that's okay. I know they're watching online, and they're texting Macy, my girlfriend, updates from the live and all that kind of stuff. So it all works out, and yeah, they're definitely my motivation.
So, have you noticed over the last few years that the competition in the XC1 class has elevated?
Yeah, I think every year it elevates. Even when I was a 11th place guy, I think no matter what you did, it wasn't ever enough because everybody else was doing the same amount, getting that much better going into the next year. So like when I was an eighth, ninth place, 10th place, 11th place guy, I would put in all that extra work, but so was everybody else. So I was still like fighting for eighth and ninth, 10th place. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? I feel like I'm, you know, let's just say 10 seconds faster than I think I would have been last year. But everybody else was still the same thing. And I think going into this year, I surprised myself. I mean, I started off the year with a second, and I'm like, what just happened? Like, I think we finally got the quad to 100%, and Levi got me completely fit, but also confident. Like, my mindset coming into this year, I rode with some of the top guys, and I knew around the practice tracks, I was like, man, I feel like I'm not going very fast when I'm riding with them, and I have, that next little level. And I think that was all the confidence I needed to go into the year. And it it was amazing way to start the 2024 year.
When you ride against guys like Walker Fowler and Bryson Neal, you're talking about 10 titles there. What does that do for your psyche?
Well, I don't get to ride with Bryson at all, but I do get to ride with Walker. Walker's very dangerous though to ride with because he is never as fast at the practice track than he is at the racetrack. So I could smoke him one day, and he'll beat me at the race by a minute that weekend. So he is hard to judge. He'll even tell me at the practice track, "Man, you were flying. Like, there's no way I'm keeping up." Like, and that gets in my head, but I know, Josh, you got to go faster on race day because he is going to be faster than what you think you were going. And he's even put me in my place a few times because I was like, man, I was feeling good. And, some of the mechanics were there, they were watching, and they put in the group chat, Josh is rolling. And then Walker comes out the next day and, smokes me. And it's just like, whoa, like confidence level just comes down that little bit. And, it is a mind game out there. And he's a champ, most winningest GNCC ever, for a reason. So he knows what he's doing. And obviously, he's put in the work and the time on the four wheeler to get it perfect. So uh, it's fun to ride with someone like that. But there's a lot of mind games that you put yourself in because yeah, like I said, you can beat him at the practice track, but then on the weekend he's going to beat you by a minute possibly. So you just have to be Confident, but also you just gotta keep putting in the work. But for Bryson, I don't know, man. Dude's rides by himself, maybe a couple of his close buddies, but never rode with him
Well, other than race day, right?
other than race day. Yeah.
When you guys go train, how many locals do you guys do a year?
This year, 2024, I actually talked to Jason, the Action Off Road team owner. I think I did 6 locals this year, which is not very many. I went with the approach this year to, instead of getting a practice quad ready to race at a local, I will just ride 2 days at my local practice track, which is only 10 minutes away from me, rather than driving 2.5 hours, 2 hours to the local race and spending that day before prepping the quad and then the day after cleaning all your stuff, fixing all your flat tires, because it's pretty rocky up here in Ohio, or mostly where all the local races are. It's pretty rocky. It's like Ohio, Pennsylvania area. So a lot of maintenance goes into that. And I think for 2025, I will be racing a few more. I won't say it's going to be a ton more, but I think through summer break, if you look at my results, they kind of went downhill after that. But I think I just need to keep consistently racing through summer break, and I'll be good to go for next year.
You think that something changed from, during summer break to the end to the last 4 rounds?
Yeah, I think just the time. I was on the four-wheeler, I was riding, but getting green flag starts and a checkered flag is just a whole nother, perspective in the racing world, or that you should be going through. And I was just going out and doing my laps, putting in good laps, but you don't get that dead engine start with competition. You don't get the push for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever the local is. So I think I just lost a little bit of my edge in that break because all I was doing was laps after laps after laps rather than having some competition actually. Even if that's like maybe sometimes if there is nobody there, I'll start second or third row. So I have to pass decently fast people at the beginning, you know, just getting that green flag and doing a dead engine start next to 10 people, you know, I struggled on my starts at the end of the year. And at the beginning of the year, I was top four, I think, the first 5 rounds. So made it easy on myself. And the last 4 rounds, I made it very, very hard on myself.
Yeah, coming through that field has got to be hard work.
Yeah, I did it, I think, once or twice this year. I can't believe, like, from dead last off the start to on the podium. And it's, you got to get lucky, to be honest. You got to have some guys really move over for you, because if they, some tracks, like I got a bad start at the Mountaineer, the Boy Scout camp, and it was so dusty. The guys didn't have to move over. They just had to stay in front of me and dust me out, and I couldn't go around them because there was no lines. It was a one line track and there was no field sections. So it sucks because we use all the open areas for parking. So they make it an actual woods race, but when it's a dusty race and there's one really good line, the alternate line, you would have to be a B rider for you to get by that guy. And when you're a pro versus a pro, you're either getting hurt or you're not making the pass. So, and I wasn't trying to get hurt out there or hurt anybody else. So it's, it was tough. Couple races getting bad starts at the end of the year.
Are you ready to be captivated by one of nature's masterpieces? Discover the breathtaking beauty of Antelope Slot Canyon, a natural wonder in Page, Arizona. Join us on a guided tour and immerse yourself
in the mystical light beams, rich colors, and serene landscapes. With tours at prime sunbeam hours, experience photographer's paradise and capture memories that will last a lifetime. Comfortable shoes, a camera, and a smile are all you need for this adventure. Book your journey today at Antelope Slot Canyon Tours and let the canyon enchant you. Please visit us now, antelopeslotcanyon.com, for more details.
Cody Collier tells me all the time because there's a lot of things that happen in those 2 hours. From good to bad, can put you up front, can put you in the back. You just have to keep pushing and keep riding.
Yeah, Shane Hitt actually told me, I think he commented on one of my posts, which I'm a huge Shane Hitt fan. He said, "Hey, doesn't matter how you start, matters how you finish." So
Right.
you got 2 hours to do whatever you got to do. And it's a lot of racing, but it also goes by in a second, it seems like, because if there's one line out there that you can pass one guy a lap on, you're only passing four people. And, that's tough when you are 10th in the class off the start or even further back. So, yeah, it's GNCC racing though. That's truly it. You got to get a good start.
How many of the race courses that you are on are like that, where you only have one or two places to pass?
I would think there's probably, I would say like five or six people or five or six tracks. I would say is there's like one line that, someone will miss, but mostly like the pro guys, we bike the track. We've ridden the tracks hundreds, not hundreds of times, but a lot of years of racing at all these same venues. So it gets tough to pass dudes when you're, if not just a little faster than them or the same speed. So it's getting harder, especially the tracks are getting faster. They did add in a lot of slower tracks this year. The old gray was like a old style GNCC. There was good split lines, but it was super tight and twisty, I should say. Like you weren't going straight very long on that track. So with the rocks and all that, I hope we go back there. I don't know what they're going to do with parking, but we'll see.
Parking must have been bad.
Yeah, parking was very bad, and it rained beforehand, so a lot of people got stuck and it was a mess. It almost ruined. I think it possibly could have ruined the race. I think it maybe we won't even go back because of parking. We'll see. We'll see at the banquet in December if it's on the schedule or not.
When it rained there, did the rocks get slippery?
It rained before the race, so it was actually pretty dry when we were racing. It was just the parking lot was wet, so the track was perfect. It was it had some sinkholes, but it was also dusty, which is weird. It just how the property formed, I guess.
Yeah, I when they set that one up, I was thinking, man, that's going to be a lot of tires. That's going to chip a
Yeah,
lot of tires.
yeah, that's one thing. I definitely got some flats there, and I think a lot of people did because it was like a flat rock, but there was also some sharp rocks there that just chewed away your sidewalls and rims.
Right, I bet. So I want to shift gears on you just a little bit and get into a little bit of a professional racer's training. I know you have a regular job, so training is an issue or something that you have to fit into your life. And what are some of the things that you do off of the machine to keep yourself in shape?
It's pretty easy for me, to be honest with you. I get up early and I go to the gym. Levi will have my Monday through Friday workouts. He obviously knows we normally race on Saturdays or Sundays every weekend. If not, we're riding on the weekends. So he kind of keeps those days free. But I'll get up before work and I'll go to the gym for an hour, 20 minutes. I can normally get the workout done and get to work way before 9 o'clock. So it's pretty easy. It's nothing like crazy. Like I'm not road biking or anything like that. It's a lot of like rower and, assault bike and weight training, cardio based, kind of stuff like that. But it's awesome, man. I feel great. I'm 31 years old and I look good. I feel like the body is doing really good. I had one accident this year, messed up my shoulder a little bit, but other than that, um, he's got me, you know, built for GNCC racing.
You said weight training. Isn't weight training sometimes counterproductive, or are you guys doing a specific style of weight training so it doesn't bulk you up?
Yeah, it's definitely. I feel like we are doing some weights, mostly like back and legs, just to, you know, get the muscles strong enough to last for 2 hours. Um, you got to be able to manhandle your four wheeler sometimes. I mean, if you look at Bryson, the dude is built beyond belief. I think GNCC racing is a little different than like supercross, motocross guys. They need to be small, nimble, but you even see they're kind of changing also to the Chase Sexton, Eli Tomac, like they're getting more muscle because they figured out the more muscle you have, the stronger you're going to be if you hit the ground and you're not going to mess yourself up as much. But for GNCC, you definitely have to have, those extra calories to get you to the finish line, and strength because the smaller guy will not be able to last the 2 hour race. And that's why, like, I think a good perspective, if you know dirt bikes, Stuart Baylor, he's a bigger guy, but when that third hour rolls around for the dirt bike race, he gets even stronger, and the smaller guys kind of lose their calorie count and go backwards. So I think it's the same thing for for ATVs. None of us are twigs on the pro line. There's some skinnier guys, but if you look at Walker Fowler, if you look at Bryson, me, Wyatt's pretty skinny, but he's mostly muscle. Um, it's it's not like we're skin and bones. We got a little bit of muscle and meat on ourselves to get us to that 2 hour mark.
Well, so what you're telling me is you don't want to be a motocross physique. You want to be an off-road physique, which is someone that has more muscle on their bottom. You may carry a little more weight as well because you don't have to be so lean for that horsepower. I mean, you guys are using your size and strength to get traction and to put the machine
Yep.
in place that the motocross guys would never even think of.
Definitely. And like I said, manhandling the four wheeler around the track when you have to go over rocks, logs, giant sand whoops, whatever it is, you have to be able to hold on to that four wheeler for 2 hours. And it's no longer an endurance race. I truly think it's no longer an endurance race. It's a sprint. From that green flag, unless Bryson thinks he's just on an endurance ride and Walker think they're on an endurance ride, I think we're sprinting the whole time because that's my sprint speed, and I can do it. It's not a problem, but I would say endurance ride would be about 5 miles per hour slower. That would be like, okay, I could go all day, but we're not going all day anymore. We're going for 2 hours, and it's wide open check or green flag to checkers. So
So the game is elevated. The quality of the machine has risen. So the quality of the rider has to rise so that you can go faster. The same things happened in your West Coast desert racing. They used to
yep,
be endurance races, and now it's sprint to the pit, sprint to the pit, sprint to the pit. So you
yep.
guys are doing the same deal. We've gotten better, got better machines. Um, so let's talk about Ohio. You got to go to the Legends race. I got to see you there. How was that event for you? Did you get to see any of the old motocross heroes of the day to root on?
Yeah, I was actually looking at some memories, and that came up on my phone I think it was actually yesterday, and just seeing who I got pictures with, and all that. It was definitely a very cool event. Um, the spectators, I think, made the event, but also the legends being there because the spectators, I guess, were there because of them. Um, I think it was awesome. I think it was truly a cool experience. I've only been to a handful of ATV motocrosses, and most of them were Daytona. I raced a few of them, and it was like kind of dead. I'm not gonna lie, like not sugarcoating it or anything. Uh, and the Legends race was packed. Briar Cliff, right? That's where it was at. They put on an awesome event. It was almost on time, and it ran a little over, which accidents and just getting everybody organized, that many people organized, it's gonna happen. And the track layout was sick. The jumps where the spectators could watch was awesome. Like you're literally almost under, these guys going as fast as they can go. And the pros put on a really good show also. So it was very cool to see like Shane Hitt and my favorite racer was Chris Bithell being out there, a GNCC guy. Um, just all those guys out there. It was very, very cool. Dustin Wimmer, he was kind of before my time of caring about ATV motocross, I should say, because I was obviously racing, but I was fully like GNCC. And when I got into ATV motocross, it was like they kind of all the big names were on their way out, and Chad was the man. So um, yeah, it was very cool seeing them all battle and get in shape for one more race. That's very cool. Like some of these guys probably were, loving it. Some of them were probably hating it, but it was a very good time to see them battle for one last time and just meet some of them. I've never met a couple of them, and it was very cool.
Yeah, I thought it was great. It was fantastic to see a lot of those guys because I got to be a part of some of it when they were young, when we were all
Yep.
young. And
Yep.
I'm a little older than you, but that's neither here nor there. One of the other things I wanted to ask you about is what did you think about the motocross legend guys coming out and racing ATVs?
Oh, you mean
Like,
at Ironman?
yeah,
Yeah, Ryan Villapoto and Bradshaw. Very cool. I didn't like again, Bradshaw was before my time. But I got a picture with Ryan Villapoto. Super cool that he was on Johnny Gallagher's four wheeler. I got to talk to him for a brief second, but uh, some of the guys, I think, I don't think it was Bradshaw. I think it was their fourth guy. I think he works for Vital MX or something like that. He's like, "Hey, you have any pointers?" And I'm like, "Just lean into the corners, you'll be fine." And to watch the video of Ryan Villapoto leaning into the first couple corners, it was pretty funny because he really thought he was like, I don't know, it's just a different type of lean, I guess, from a dirt bike to a quad, and it was cool. And the amount of eyes we got to watch a four wheeler race, or even a four wheeler picture, of Ryan Villapoto and Bradshaw on a four wheeler, is huge for the sport. I think. I hope it, you know, brings in new companies and new fans and all that kind of stuff. Even dirt bike guys that are hardcore haters of ATVs, they're like, "Wow, the legend Ryan Villapoto riding a four wheeler." I hope that translated a little bit. Maybe not. I don't care. It doesn't really matter to me, but uh, hopefully it did.
so let's talk about some other things. The ATV industry in a whole, people are saying, "Oh, it's shrinking, it's this, it's that." What's your thoughts on how the ATV industry is health wise?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. It seems like obviously companies come and go. If it's scary when an older company goes out, but it gets replaced by new companies. It seems like every day, new help for the ATV industry, new parts, all that kind of stuff. But a lot of the big names are still around, and if you look at the Iron Man GNCC bird's eye view, it'd be hard to say GNCC racing is struggling. Um, but they say it is. I don't I don't know. I don't know enough. I don't have a dog in the fight. I all I'm saying is if I was at a GNCC and I saw Ironman GNCC and how many people were there, I'd say they were thriving. Um, there's
I
enough
would have to
people there. What's that?
I would have to say that that race, that Ironman, is one of the largest off-road races in the country today.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard it broke the record for people that came to a race in a weekend or something like that. I don't know if it was maybe just the dirt bikes or combined ATVs and dirt bikes. But it's definitely that was that had to have been one of the largest events in the United States, possibly the world. There was that many people there, and we got there Thursday, and the place was packed, and that's 2 days before the race, and it's crazy that the fans all the way around the racetrack, and on the starting line. It was awesome. It was very cool. And if a company's there and they can sell, I mean, there had to have been, I don't know how many people, but if they could sell their product to, you know, half or quarter amount of those people, man, they got to be doing something right. So they say it's struggling, but maybe it's I don't know. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't know. I hope it's
Well,
not.
when they're lining up 2 weeks prior to that to get their campers in line so that they can get a good spot,
Yeah,
I don't think that GNCC racing is hurting. Maybe the ATV industry is hurting a little bit in some aspects, but as far as that race goes, or cross country racing in a whole,
yep.
you guys have the most exciting series in the country right now.
I agree. I think that's why some of the ATV motocross guys are coming out. I think they're seeing, hey, look at all these fans. I mean, having Bryce Ford there and with his TikTok and his YouTube and all that kind of stuff and Max there, um, these guys are obviously talking to the other guys and being like, there was, you know, almost 20 pros at the Ironman GNCC because they showed up. Cody was there, Cole was there, and Kenny Schick moved up. So there was almost 20 of us on the pro line, but there was like, I think almost 300 or around 250, I would say, in our full race. And there was fans literally till they couldn't see the starting line. And then the rest of them were at the hills. I bet you the ATV motocross guys have never seen that many people when they line up for a start. So I think a lot of those guys will be, even Bryce said it on his YouTube. He's racing 3 or 4 next year, and I hope a couple more. I know Zach Decker got a XC quad. Wait, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I
exactly.
think, yeah, Zach Decker got an XC quad. And I think a lot of these guys are figuring out like, hey, we can do both. Like, yeah, I'm good at ATV motocross, but there's a couple GTCs that are close. Why don't we just, throw a front end on and go have some fun and get like, I don't know, some new fans. It's not going to hurt
Link,
them, that's for sure.
right. Lindquist raced the bike that he rode in the works race the weekend before. He raced the
Yep.
same in the cross country race.
Yeah, and
Wide.
Iron Man, you can get away with that. And to be honest, I thought that was possibly the hot setup for this year because it was fast at Iron Man. It was a lot of flowy, big corners, and I think a wide bike would have just ate people up. I talked to Max Saturday night. He said he hit every tree on the track, sadly, and that's just it's a learning process, and we've all been there. I've hit my fair share and bent frames and bent bumpers and everything else. Uh, but I think these guys are going to learn. I think they're going to learn quick because they see the people at the track and the fans and the sponsors that are showing up. And I think GNCC is thriving. I think people just need to sell and sell and sell, and everything will be fine. Yeah, I truly think it's growing. ATV, I think it's growing.
I think that what you guys are doing is outstanding for the sport, and it is growing in your world. You have Yamaha support in the 4x4 style deals. There's some moving and shaking done by some other countries. We talk every time on the Sunday morning show that I do, the talk
Mhm.
show that we have. We talk about different industries, and the 450 sport quad is always something that comes up. Hey, is there one coming? We've had rumors of some stuff that were happening. The rumors have kind of died out, but um, I think the next sport quad you see come into the industry and as a 450 is probably going to come from one of your non-traditional manufacturers.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I will be on
Neither
a
do I.
Yamaha. I'll be on a Yamaha until I retire. The bike's proven. Um, it doesn't really matter if a new quad comes out. The Yamaha will dominate for a few more years at least, and I think once they see that they aren't dominating, maybe they'll come out with a new one. But with a production rule, I don't see it happening anytime soon.
From the information that I get from the few people that I have feelers with Yamaha, they already have the next generation bike waiting in the wings, for somebody to give them competition so that they can just smack them down with the new model instantly.
Yeah, why
You know,
wouldn't you?
well,
I
I
I
think
don't.
those guys at Yamaha are on top of it.
Oh, they're making so much money. They got the whole market. So it only makes sense. Hey, let's just be prepared just in case. What's it gonna hurt?
I remember when that two-piece frame came out, aluminum steel, we were all, I don't know, I don't think this is going to hold up. I don't think this is going to work. And then a few years later, we're all going, oh, it's working really well.
Yeah.
Maybe we were wrong.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. And just the modifications that the aftermarket companies come up with, to make the quad even better than what it is and stronger and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely, I would say, a team effort in the industry to make a bulletproof quad, and with a better engine, with a better suspension and A arms and just components in general. Uh, it's a team effort through everyone.
What would you say if they took and put in like a stock performance pro class where you had to run more stock components on the machine and race them that way? What would you say to that?
I would say it would probably have to be in like the morning race or the youth race because it ain't gonna work good enough to be competitive. I would say most A guys would be able to smoke me on a stock or four wheeler. I mean, if it'd be tough to do 2 hours on stock suspension if they didn't let you switch suspension. Like I could go fast on a quad with a steering stabilizer only, but only for a certain amount of time before it beats the crap out of you. Like there's got to be some give to it, and uh, yeah, it just wouldn't. I don't think it would. ATV motocross, it worked because it's they're. I mean, they're motocross bikes off the floor. Um, their tracks are maintained. But if you put a stock quad in the afternoon, that dude is hating his life about halfway through for sure. I don't care what shape you're in, it will beat you down and spit you out.
I totally agree. I totally agree. You got anything new coming for 2025 that you're able to announce yet?
To be honest, I have nothing new so far. I'm going to be with Action Off Road for 2025 again, which is my main sponsor. We already got two Yamaha 450s at Mark Notman's, probably down to the frame already, knowing Mark, just to get powder coated and whatnot. A lot of things still up in the air. Um, can't really go into detail with that yet. But there's a lot of unknowns for 2025, and gonna try to change up the program just a touch, just to make things better. I think my engine package could be a little stronger. I'm staying with BNR. That's not changing. I think there's another motor step I could go up to. I've been running the same motor for last few years, and it's been super consistent. I finished all the races this year. I finished all the races, I think a few years ago. Last year I broke a chain. It wasn't an engine or anything like that. BNR is definitely on top of the game with their engine packages, but Walker does run a little bit different engine setup, so I might try that. Suspension still BNR, springers up front, Fox rear. Yeah, it's just a couple of things I'm trying to improve on my four-wheeler. I like to keep my program pretty the same year in, year out. I like to be very loyal to the companies I work with. They're obviously putting their trust into me, and I'm putting my trust into them. So I don't like to change up or screw someone out of, working with me or anything like that. So it's kind of weird to say I'm changing a couple things, but I think it's going to be for the better. And just to get me that, or you're just trying to be 1% better, every day, this will just make my bike that 1% better, which, could be the difference between, getting fourth overall and getting first overall for the year. So
That's pretty awesome that you're loyal to those guys, and I'm sure that they appreciate it. I see a lot of the action off-road stuff and some of the videos and the things that they produce. It's pretty great that they're supporting you guys like that and helping you out, as well as having Mark on board to take care of you.
yep.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you before I let you go is you're 31 years old, and with the development in physical fitness and the diet developments and some of the things that other racers are doing as far as checking their bloods and taking care of their health better, does that mean that Josh Merritt's going to be an ATV racer for the foreseen future, 2, 3, 4, 5 more years?
I don't know about that. Definitely racing 2025 after that. We'll see how it goes. Uh, I don't see myself being in it 4, 5, 6 years. I don't want to be like some of these older guys and just kind of be around. I want to I want to marry my girlfriend one day. I want to have kids. I want to travel. I want to do other things while I'm still fit and fun and not grumpy and old. So, uh, I'd say it's coming to an end at some point. But I'm gonna give my all, and every year I line up. So, uh, yeah, I I don't see, like I said, I don't see myself going for 3, 4, 5 years, but 1, 2 more years maybe. I've been doing it a long time though. I'm 31, started racing GNCC at 14. Um, I didn't have the best career of all, but I definitely had all the lessons and the learning. And I know if I can put if I put my effort that I put into GNCC racing into life, I'm gonna make enough money. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna have a good life for the forever, just from everything I've learned. So uh, it's coming to an end at some point, but not yet. Still want to kick
That
some of these kids' butts a few more years.
Well, that's a great answer, and I mean, I was just asking because you are a fan favorite. Every time that we do something with you, the fans really ignite. They come out and support it, and I just wanted to see where you were for the future because you do have a big following there in the GNCC ranks, and everybody's watching and wanting to see what Josh Merritt's going to do. They all enjoy when you get on the podium, also. So just keep training hard, keep working hard, brother. We're watching from this side. You know that I think the world of you and like to to watch you and see you perform well. So keep up the good work. Make sure you tell everybody there. Thank you so much for letting us borrow you for the evening.
All good. Thank you.
All right. Did you have anything you wanted to go with closing?
Just want to thank all my sponsors, all my friends, family. 2025 is going to be one to remember. I know that because I'm going to be putting in the work. I got about 2 more weeks off of doing nothing, I should say, just kind of having fun. I've been hunting a lot, and after that, it's back to the grind, and we're going to go for a championship next year. I know what I have to fix. I know what I need to do, and I'm ready to put in the work. So I'm hoping to click off a few more wins at least. I would say a lot more wins, and be on that podium every race. That's the goal.
That's awesome to hear. You heard it here first, folks. Josh Merritt's going for that #1 plate. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't forget to share us with your family and friends. The podcast is available on all streaming platforms, and you can find us on social media as ATV-TALK Podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter.